Right now, I am using an awl to puncture the pages of this book so that I can sew through those holes later on. This awl, it's a pretty exciting instrument. I've had this, I think, since I was in the MFA program because I wanted to bind my thesis, you know. It's a stable, sturdy instrument. The beginning of a book, I guess, starts with me receiving the manuscript. The manuscript may or may not be solicited. Many of them come to me through a third way, which is someone says, hey, send that to Andrew Salters, he'll take a look at it. And I'm like, well, sure, I'd love to take a look at it. These are all books that are going to go to the distributor by the end of the month, but right now what I'm working on are copies of Standing on Z by Stuart Deschelles, a chapbook that was published in September of this year. I'm taking the pages together and sewing them. It's a really exciting chapbook for me to be able to do because, of course, I was in Stuart's class as a student here 10 years ago, and you know, it's kind of strange to be in the position of, you know, suggesting edits to somebody who is kind of, you know, responsible for you getting a degree in poetry, right? Like, you can imagine. But I think that part of the real fun of the process was that as I was reading the manuscript, you know, like when he handed it to me on 8.5 by 11 pages, printed off of his home computer, I was like, okay, this is something that I can hear your voice in pretty easily because I've known you for so long, right? Like when I read this line, I can hear you saying it, and I can hear how I think you'd want to say it, and maybe, you know, we can adjust this to help it come out in some way that's, you know, slightly different, but maybe better, I don't know. I can always learn something by the way that somebody has decided to type on the page, or, you know, how they've decided on a certain type of paper, or like even the fact that this paper is available. Like there are some types of paper that I know I'd like to print on, and I see them in other people's books, and I'm like, where do you find this paper? It's the sort of thing that I guess I'm thinking of a lot, but I'm also thinking about how those choices frame what I'm reading too. I guess that's why I call it the designerly perspective, because you're thinking about materials leading to consequences. You know, I don't want anyone to read any unicorn book and think, this is a handmade object. I want the benefits of the handmade object to be there, informing the reading experience. But I'd really like them to be focusing on what's there, right? After all, it's an object that exists to be read. When someone reads a unicorn book, I'd like them to be led by the poetry, first and foremost. You know, I think often of this thing that Michael Parker said to my fiction class when I was in college with him, graduate school. He said, you know, you can really make a mistake by reading a book for an effect that you expect to get from it, right? That's ambiguously worded, but what he meant by that is if you read, I don't know, Steinbeck because you want to read about, like, you know, New England, you know, hardscrabble male life, then, I mean, it's not like you're going to be disappointed, but you're going to be missing a lot of things that the book could offer you otherwise, right? So I'm often up against that when I know that I've had a particular feeling from a book that I've accepted, and I'm like, for me, this is what the book's about for me, but like the book still has a whole series of potential meanings that it could offer to a larger audience. I never want to constrain a book. I'm always trying to, I guess, design it so that what it has to offer can be accessible to any audience that is able to access it. So, yeah, that's one of the curious things about design. You don't want to be generic, but you also don't want to pigeonhole the text in any way. A lot of people have been very encouraging to me about what Unicorn Press does, and that's, you know, I can't really say how much I appreciate that. I appreciate it a lot because it's, you know, it can sometimes be a challenge to continue. And when people tell you, I really like that book that you did by so-and-so, you know, it's very encouraging. A lot of people tell me that they like the design of the books, but more than anything, I'm really held up. I like it when people tell me that they like what has been published, right? Like, that's why you do it. If it was only something that had a certain visual appearance, and it could be blank, right? Like, you want to be able to put good work into the world, and I hope that's what people think about what the press is doing.